In this video, we'll be walking through how to access JupyterLab through Unity OnDemand. Before we begin, let's discuss the software and application we are going to be interacting with. JupyterLab is a web-based interactive computational environment that enables you to work with documents and activities such as Jupyter notebooks, text editors, terminals, and custom components in a flexible and integrative manner. Here's an example of the Jupyter Notebook interface. Unity provides a way to access JupyterLab through Unity OnDemand. Unity OnDemand provides JupyterLab as a way to manage your software in Unity. You might like or want to use JupyterLab through Unity OnDemand because it provides you access to high-performance compute resources as well as pre-configured environments for Jupyter notebooks, meaning users don't need to spend time setting up dependencies or managing virtual environments. You can arrange multiple documents and activities side by side in the work area using tabs and splitters, and documents and activities integrate with each other, enabling new workflows for interactive computing, which can help reduce setup time and ensure compatibility with various libraries and frameworks. To begin, we are going to start on the Unity OnDemand page. Here we see the sign-in page for Unity OnDemand. I'm going to click on my institution, the University of Massachusetts Amherst. If you do not see your organization listed above, enter the name of your institution and search for it using the search bar below. Once I click on my institution, I am brought on to the Unity OnDemand page and I am signed in to my account. To access Jupyter, we're going to click the Interactive Apps on the ribbon of the Unity OnDemand page. Once I click the arrow next to the Interactive Apps, a drop-down menu appears showing the batch jobs that I can create. For this video, we are going to do a Jupyter batch job. Select JupyterLab. We are now directed to the fields that we need to fill in to start running our job. Filling in the fields helps to allocate resources to your JupyterLab job. There are defaults for each field, so even if you do not fill anything in, a default will be given in order to run the job that you request. The first field that we are given is partition, which are the type of computer nodes you want to run your interactive session on, which they provide a default for you if you do not fill in. The next, we have maximum job duration, how long the session with JupyterLab runs. The default for this one is 1 hour. You can increase it, decrease it, but it will take up to an hour for your job to run. Next, we have the CPU core count with a default of 2. And below that, we have the memory in gigabytes if you would like to increase the amount of gigabytes that your job requires. The GPU count is the number of GPUs allocated to your interactive session, which is the next field. This field is different than the rest of the fields because the default that we are given is 0. So if you would like to use a GPU, you must specify a GPU enabled partition in the partition field. Otherwise, it will be left to 0 and you will not have a GPU count. There's also the MATLAB kernel version, which has 4 options. If you click the arrow, they give you 4 different selections. Below that, we have the modules. The environment modules are the ones to be loaded before the job starts. And we have the short QoS field below that, which you can select if you have a job shorter than 4 hours. There's also the field extra arguments for Slurm. Slurm is an open source job scheduler used in many supercomputing clusters. There's more about this in the documentation attached below if you would like to run a non-interactive job. And there's also, under that, the debug mode that reduces performance. The last field to fill in, last option, is to receive an email when the session starts, just so that we can see the final landing page once we launch. For this purpose of this video, I'm not going to fill anything in. I'm going to let it choose all of the defaults that it's already given me, and I'm going to select Launch at the bottom of the screen. I now am brought onto the page where I am running my job. It says the session was successfully created at the top. I have my job queued. I can see the number next to Jupyter that I am. I can see the time that it was created, the date, and I can also see the time remaining. We have 1 hour because the default was 1 hour. There are a lot of other users who use Unity OnDemand and specifically Jupyter to run their batch jobs, so there might be other users using this at the same time. I would suggest coming back to this to check on it once it's done and see how it's loaded. And actually, mine's already has 1 node, 2 cores, and it's running. I can connect to Jupyter at the bottom right here. And it's connecting me to Jupyter, and I can now be onto the Jupyter page. I'm going to go back here. So a troubleshooting tip that I do want to mention is that when using JupyterLab through Unity OnDemand, it is possible that your computer could get disconnected from the internet, causing the kernel to be interrupted. In addition, interactive sessions are limited to 8 hours. So to avoid both of these issues, you can use the NB convert to run your job non-interactively, or you can use the Python package Papermill, which has more features available. This takes place in your SBatch file, and if you would like to receive more information on this, click the link in the description of the video and you'll be directed to documentation on how to run a non-interactive job.